Happy Monday! Our story this week is called Me, Jane. It is won the Caldecott Honor book, meaning that it was given a runner-up award for the illustrations that were done. The author's name is Patrick McDonnell, who also did the illustrations. So, wow, kudos to him because he not only wrote the book, but he illustrated the book. Now, this is a short book, but its message is very powerful. So it's a story with a message. I want you to listen very carefully. Now, Me, Jane. Great pictures. Love, love, love this book. All right. We always open to the inside jacket, and sometimes it gives us some foreshadowing. These look like some sort of tribal print, perhaps. Now, look at the title page. Me, Jane. What do you notice? I noticed that this is a real picture of a little girl. Her name is probably Jane, holding a stuffed toy. All right. Then I see illustrations drawings here as well. So all of that's important. Foreshadowing. Jane had a stuffed toy chimpanzee named Jubilee. She cherished Jubilee and took him everywhere she went. And Jane loved to be outside. She watched birds making their nests, spiders spinning their webs, and squirrels chasing one another up and down trees. Jane learned all that she could about the animals and plants she studied in her backyard and she read about in books. And there's Jubilee right there with her. Now, this, as you see, is 2 pages with no words from the author. These are just drawings and illustrations of all sorts of, this is a wild bird puzzle. This looks like some drawings here of different animals. So the fact that there are no words on this page tells you it's very important, and I wonder who did these drawings. Do you think the illustrator and author did them, or do you think perhaps these were from someone else? Remember this, okay? One day, curious Jane wondered where eggs came from, so she and Jubilee snuck into Grandma Nut's chicken coop, hid behind some straw, and stayed very still, and observed the miracle of the hen laying the egg. It was a magical world full of joy and wonder, and Jane felt very much a part of it. She loved being around the animals and doing everything with Jubilee. Jane often climbed her favorite tree, which she named Beech. She would lay her cheek against its trunk and seem to feel the sap flowing beneath the bark. Jane could feel her own heart beating, beating, beating. Climbs up the tree with her friend Jubilee. With the wind in her hair, she read and reread the books about Tarzan of the Apes, in which another girl, also named Jane, lived in the jungles of Africa. And if you look real carefully, you see these are drawings again. Were they from the illustrator of the book or someone else? Interesting. Jane dreamed of a life in Africa. She'd go up in her tree and she'd dream she was in Africa with the animals. A life living with and helping all animals. She'd swing with the monkeys. Oh, and of course, Jubilee. At night, Jane would tuck Jubilee into bed and say her prayers and fall asleep. To wake up one day, do you notice something different about Jane? From there, from here, little girl, to here, and where she's at. To awake one day to her dream come true. Because little girl Jane, who loved her little pet Jubilee, grew up to be Jane Goodall. And she was a very famous animal person. And this book is about her. And we're going to learn out more about her. But look, when you go back here, these illustrations are all illustrations that she drew as she was learning about all the animals. Great, great book. So what do you think the message is in this book? Don't give up on your dreams, because you can make them happen. Whatever you're thinking about as a little boy or a little girl right now you want to be, can you work hard and make that happen? You can. We're going to do lots and lots of things with Me, Jane this week. And you're going to do things with learn about chimpanzees and Jane Goodall and all sorts of things. I hope you like that book. It's one of my favorites.